Coach Green here. Go ahead when you guys are ready.
Shauna, for you, the emotions, knowing how up and down and tiring this year has been, to finally hear that and see it official.
Yeah, I mean, I say this, and I really mean it. And, I mean, this day is just such a blessing, and it's the best day, I think, of the year. To hear your name called never gets old. I don't care how many times you hear it. So proud of this group. Obviously, our goal coming into this season was an NCAA tournament. And there were some times this season that maybe, that didn't look possible. And for the resiliency and the togetherness and how we continue to fight, for us to sit and hear our name and know we're going to be in it, even leading into it. It wasn't like, we're on the bubble. It just is such something that you just don't get sick of hearing.
From that perspective, does maybe this one hit a different feeling to this second time around versus the first time?
Every time I think it hits different, and every year that I've been there as an assistant coach, as a head coach, they all have their own story and their own feeling. And this one's special, obviously. They're all special. But I wanted it so badly for this group, and I wanted them to win so badly throughout the year. So, for us to be, an 8 seed and to be in, again, without playing in a playing game or, the first 4, yeah, it's special for this group. It's special for this program. This is where when we came here 3 years ago, we said NCAA tournaments. And obviously to make that in the first year was special in its own right, because it was just such a surreal moment. Like, how are we sitting here right now in the NCAA tournament with where we came from? So I think that was but even now it's a really proud moment for our program, for our players, and hopefully we just continue to build from here.
I know you guys wanted the WBIT to catapult into this, but what was the key in actually making that work and not letting it just be something that you said in Indianapolis and didn't carry over?
Our seniors, the leadership we had in this group. I think when you have strong upperclassmen and then, really good young guys that'll follow them and are capable of it, you can do some special things. Experience is so big in college basketball. So this group knew, they understood, what it was like the first year. Then they understood last year the disappointment in not making the NCAA tournament, but then the excitement of winning and going on a run and be able to cut down nets. So it was number one goal in any time we talk about what we wanted out of this season was an NCAA tournament. They got it.
As navigating this gap between the Big Ten tournament and the first game coming up, is it more art or science when it comes to practice planning and how to handle this?
It's interesting because I think that is different each year too. Last year my whole mindset was to get kind of our hunger and fight and tenacity back after, the end of this year and losing to Maryland and we knew we were in the WBIT, so it was kind of like you knew you weren't going to be in the NCAA tournament, so trying to change our mindset. We competed like crazy last year. This year, obviously, our numbers are totally different, and we weren't able to. The spring break, we barely had some practice players. I had to get creative there for a while in some of our practices, and a couple people are still out, and we rested them, and they didn't even practice. So we were down, a lot of players this week. We had a couple kids sick. So it wasn't like your normal week of, let's get better, where I do think we got better, but we also had to get rest. So that was my fine line of keeping them sharp, getting better at the fundamentals, keeping us hungry, but also getting this team a ton of rest.
Do you expect to have good health from everyone that was playing in the tournament?
I don't even know right now, to tell you the truth. It's day by day with some of these guys. Like I said, we haven't been full strength in practice since the Big Ten tournament.
That's been the longest stretch between games that you guys have had in literally all season. Now, with this group in particular, beyond the injuries or illnesses right now, why was that important, and why can they handle 2 weeks without a game?
Yeah, we scrimmaged some, so we kept their cardio up. We scrimmaged as much as we could with what we had, and then our practice guys. And again, and then we went back to, I think I heard Jen say, we went back to just some fundamentals and some basics defensively, some things that, just basic closeouts, getting back to, again, our number one core value is keeping people in front of you, and that starts with the closeout. And we didn't do that at an elite level consistently for those last 2 games. So, defense is the name of the game, especially with our opponent in Creighton. I've played them before, obviously, and they like to score. They spread you, and I haven't watched any film on them this year. I just know them, and they spread you, and all 5 people can shoot the 3. So if you're going to beat Creighton, you have to defend. So I'm really glad that some of the things that we worked on and emphasized this last week in practice will definitely lead into our game plan against a team like Creighton.
Speaking of that, do you, just on the scouting report too, I mean, do you kind of like look at teams you might play when you in this couple of weeks, and what does that kind of look like as you go into this?
Kind of, but not like in a full scout. But they had us playing Richmond. They had us. I saw a couple things at Richmond, at Creighton. You kind of look at the 8-9s. Richmond obviously had a ton of familiarity with being in the A10, and Creighton plays like Richmond. So, and again, Creighton's a really good team. They're really well coached, and I know they're an old team too. It's because I sat with Coach this summer recruiting, and we were talking about how we both had some experienced teams. So, we're gonna have our hands full with them. So we'll get in right now. My staff's already back at Ubben, and I'll head over there and we'll start getting after it with scouting.